Memory victim and God victim and God David, these theories and the like, I think they're fantastic theories. I really like how they put the pieces together, but I just don't think they're right. I'm sorry. That's not to say that they don't make sense from an evidence perspective, like how they've put things together. I think they're sound arguments. They're just, I don't think there's a word for this kind of theory. I want to try to explain using probably very outdated examples. Again, unk theorist here. They're theories that are really cool and interesting perspectives to view the story from, but they're wrong because they're just more than what the original author was going for. They're like another layer above or beyond or meta, whatever you'd want to call it. I'm thinking of like the theory that the original Pokemon show, the anime from like 1999, there's this big theory on the early internet that that show was actually Ash in a coma after Pikachu shocked him in the pilot episode, that everything after that episode is all some elaborate dream, or that Super Mario 3, that game is actually a play. These are cool theories. They're really creative, and if that's your headcanon, then all the power to you. But I don't think you can convince a majority of people soundly that those are definitively what was intended by the creators. I think it comes down to me to a simple question. Why would they do that? Why would, for example, Pokemon, way before this sort of symbiosis between creator and consumer, mystery and plot twist, the current, ARG era of media content, why would they sink their flagship show of a series and media franchise that just went international by making a secret canonical message that it was all a coma dream from the start? How does that make sense? They're trying to get 5-year-olds to watch and make their parents buy toys and not to convolute a children's story with some kind of elaborate mystery, right? And that's the problem I face with some of these theories. Like, let's take dream theory, for example. I think this is the strongest example. So imagine you're Scott Cawthon. You've just made a video game series that has made you and your family set for life. We're talking books deals, we're talking a movie deal. You're already, I think, close to thinking about handing the series off to like a real full-time studio and not just yourself, right? You're making big moves with this franchise. And for whatever reason, you think at the time that you want to end the series now with a fourth game. Maybe you pick it up later, but you want to wrap up the story for now, 1 through 4. Maybe just add one more interesting layer. Why would you at that point make the ultimate plot twist of the whole story you've been making at this point, that it's all a complete dead end? That it never even happened in the fictional land that you've constructed. It's all a dream. Because you either think that Scott intended to do that from somewhere close to the start, or that he decided to land on that conclusion in FNAF 4, maybe in a way to, again, juke the writers or juke the theorists at the time. Either way, he's taking his biggest success and he's throwing it in the trash because there's not a lot of narrative merit there anymore. Now, any potential sequels don't matter. He's killed them before they even started. I mean, if this is your true ending to FNAF 4, what does FNAF 5 matter whenever that comes out if the last 4 games were all a dream? Am I really supposed to care about the story and the characters if it's all 2 layers of made up? Is this still in the dream? Is this a new real thing? Is this another dream from another kid? What's going on here? Because I think it might sound insane. I think FNAF is more than that. I think he's trying to establish it as a real concrete series. And I also think that FNAF is one of the first video game series that is going further or in a different direction, a layer beyond or past the simple OG like M. Night Shyamalan plot twists of it was all a dream or they were dead the whole time. Those theories were insanely popular for movies and TV shows and games at the time. Before this, and Scott is breaking the mold. I think by introducing a deeper mystery that fools the audience in a deeper way, and honestly, a more meta and interactive way. And I think he's trying to make us actually take the story in its own way seriously, like we've done so far. I mean, the real reason Dream Theory got voted out by popular vote was that we were invested at that point. He had done such a good job writing to get us just so interested in what was going on that to dismiss it all as a dream and wrap it all up in a weird little bow like that, we didn't want to take that. I mean, we were right to go with our gut on that because that was what Scott was intending. I just don't think he was attending uh, to do something like that. If you've seen any previous videos of mine, in an earlier one I mentioned, I think Scott is a very reactionary writer. I think he's writing each of the first few sequels in order to kind of play chess with and fool the theories and theorists at the time, even if it means he's writing himself into corners or making himself messes later. I don't think Scott thought he would have to account for every single detail of his games 10 years later. I think Scott and this series are suffering severely from success at this point. I think a second nail against Dream Theory is Matthew Patrick himself. Again, amazing guy. He has done wonders for this community, the gaming community at large, YouTube, but all of these old school theories that I'm talking about, the kind of it was all a dream or he was dead the whole time things that used to be popular, well, he made a lot of videos like that before this. Back, in his early days, there's quite a few old game theory videos that play that tune, that push that button. Just off of memory, he did a video on the Pokemon theory that I've been talking about this whole time. It wasn't his idea. He just went off of it, but he made a video about, oh, Ash is in the coma the whole time. He made another video about Link being dead the whole time. He made another video about Ness from Earthbound being dead the whole time. I think Matthew is an old school theorist from that area. He's taking shop and ideas from those kind of theories. If I had to fire a blind bullseye, I would take a guess that Matthew Patrick loved reading articles on the website cracked.com. I think he liked watching old videos like Crack's After Hours series, maybe like the Terminator videos or the video where, Marty, the really weird video about Back to the Future. Don't worry if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you don't know what that means. If you know, you know. I'll just move on. I'm saying this all to say that he was conditioned to make that kind of conclusion with mysteries. It was this way the whole time. And so when presented with one, in this instance, in FNAF 4, especially on a live stream where he hasn't had the time to sit down and look at his notes, he goes that way. It's a button he's pushed before, and he's pushing the button again. But this time, he was wrong. He was never right. But at least for me, it makes sense that he went this way. I don't blame him for going that way. Again, he was wrong, but that was, years ago. Brilliant guy. He made the wrong conclusion for not crazy wrong reasons. A lot of other franchises, those theories were popular. Again, to go back to the other theories, the more current theories, I think Memory Victim, God David, I think they're interesting theories. I think we've had a lot of fun with them. And I certainly respect the people who believe them and have supported them, who have written these theories. Again, whatever theories you want to believe, whatever headcanons you want to make about the series, that's your choice. Do what you want. Do what makes you happy, what makes you enjoy the series more. But I just don't think they're right because I think they're too big brain. Those writing conclusions just go beyond the scope of what one Scott Cawthon was trying to accomplish with each game, each new piece of information, the story that he was trying to tell.